It has been a rough month for stocks, the worst September on record since 2008. So let's take a look at some of the biggest movers over the past 30 days, kicking it off with FedEx. Now, the packaging giant was one of the biggest stories of the month, if not the biggest story of the month, withdrawing its forecast, issuing a bleak warning about the global economy. That spooked investors. Shares sold off, giving back 2 years of gains. FedEx suffered its worst one-day loss in over 40 years, plunging 21%. Morgan Stanley slashing its price target in half as a result. Citi saying it doesn't think management was successful in convincing investors that it has a credible plan that it can execute on. You can see that reflected in the 1-month chart, with shares still off almost 30%, closing the month of September at 148.47. Let's take a look at the chip makers, Intel, Nvidia, and AMD. Some of these stocks being hit very hard during the month. Among the worst performers in the Nasdaq, news that the government is restricting sales of some of Nvidia's chips to China has weighed on the chip maker. Also, its competitors. Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger saying at a conference this month that the environment is, quote, rough and business may be, quote, worse. Susquehanna cutting its price target on all three of these names. Taking a look at least today, Intel, Nvidia, and AMD closing the day lower. But for the month, if you take a look at some of these 1-month charts here, Intel closing the month of September off just around 19%, Nvidia off 19.5%, AMD, the worst performer of the three, off 25%, closing the month at 63.36. All right, let's take a look and round it out on an upbeat note. Biogen, it was the top performer in the S&P in September. It was all about the news that we got earlier this week. Shares surged on the promising trial results from its Alzheimer's drug, which is said slowed the disease's progression. Now, shares surged 40% on Wednesday. It's the stock's biggest gain since November 2020. Taking a look at just a 1-week chart to really show you the action that we've seen in this name. You can see that spike shortly after the news was released, closing the month at $267 a share flat over the past month. Certainly been a strong performance here for the stock. Shares up 36% year to date, though. Up 11%, so we haven't really seen that performance, all of it really in the past week or so.